Good morning, everyone, and I hope you people are doing very well. I'm very well pleased to have you on board. Sorry that the subject was not added on your profiles much earlier, and it's only added recently. But please, I want to request that please go back to the lessons that are prior to this one, okay? Lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3. Make sure that you read through all those, watch those videos that are uploaded there, and make sure that you understand before you continue, because otherwise you'll be continuing without proper foundation. But otherwise, welcome to today's class, and today we are looking at the hardware part of the computer. Okay, so you would understand that a computer is made up of two broad categories of devices, or alternatively we can say the computer, the components that makes up a computer can be divided into two main categories, which are hardware and software. Okay, now today we are confining ourselves to hardware, and in particular we are looking at input devices as well as output devices. So you discover that computer hardware are divided into two broad categories of devices depending on the way they function. Okay, we have some components that are called input devices, and some of them are called output devices. What is the difference between the two, and what is what? Okay, to start with, input devices. Input devices are those devices that are used to feed data into the computer, to take the data from the outside world and put it in the computer. Those are what we call the input devices. In other words, we use these devices to write data into the computer. Things like a keyboard is an input device, because we use this one to type our text, to kind of take whatever we have in mind. It's outside the computer, it's in the environment outside the computer. So we take that, use this keyboard to feed this this data into the computer. So that keyboard is an input device. Things like a joystick, this thing that we use for gaming, it's an input device, because we use that to issue commands to the computer, to tell the computer move this on this side, or up, down, or left, and all that. So we are issuing commands to the computer, and therefore we call that as an input device, because an input device is used either to write or to feed in data into the computer, or to issue commands to the computer. So that's what an input device is. All right, we have things like scanners and all those barcode readers and many other. You can think of anything that we use to take information from outside the world and put that information in the computer, or give commands to the computer. That thing can be categorized as an input device. So the input devices are not only limited to what I have listed here. So you can have as many as you can think of, as long as those devices, we use them to take information or commands from outside the world, or from outside the computer, and input those commands or data into the computer. Now, on the other hand, we have what we call the output devices. All right, output devices are those devices that we use to transfer information or data from the computer to the outside environment. Okay, things that takes the processed data from the computer to the outside world are what we call output devices. Think of things like speakers or headphones, earphones. Those are output devices. Why? Because they take the sound of the processed track or music or whatever it is from the inside the computer, and take it to the outside environment for us as human beings to hear or exactly to here. And you can think of many other devices, things like printers. They take processed data from the computer and they feed it out or give it out to the environment for human beings to consume. Okay, and you can think of anything, screens, a desktop screen or computer screen or whatever you call it. Those are all output devices. And any other device you can think of that takes information from inside an electronic device, a computer, and takes it outside the computer, that's called an output device. But then there are some components, some devices which can act as both input and as output. Things like a digital camera can act as input and as output. So therefore, this type of components or devices will be will have a bearing on both. Okay, can both be referred to as input or as output. Like a digital camera, you have a screen which acts like an output device, but you have also buttons, or some of the cameras are even a touch screen, so you can issue some commands. So those can act as input and also as output devices. So we have also things like fax and all this webcam and many other things that act like both input and as output. So please let us understand the distinction between the output and input devices, and also understand that there are those components that act as both input and output devices. So in summary, what we looked at today is input devices and output devices, which are the two subcategories of the hardware devices. So input devices used to feed data from the outside of the computer and feed that inside the computer. On the other hand, we have output devices which takes information from the computer or data from the computer and feed it to the outside world. So those are the two subcategories of hardware devices as used in a computer. So in conclusion, I want to implore you that please replay this video, read the notes attached, make sure that you understand, and in preparation for our next class, please read about computer motherboards. Okay, computer motherboard. Do a bit of research about computer motherboard so that when we come next time, you know what a motherboard is, and it will be easy for you to understand and to follow through. Thank you very much. Stay well. Have a good day, and God bless you.